Bandeham Shri Guru Shiyatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Vishnam Supurakam Guraganar Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govinda Vidam Uchwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavat Premna Vibijapradam Devam Devyatanam Suchanda Varanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekabaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Silanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubhanam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Sridharam Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhush Saivaja Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Govinda Mela Ki Jai All the assembled devotees Ki Jai Gop Brahmanande Hari. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay. So this is Adi-lila chapter 5, verse number 120. Setananta Sesha Bhakta Avatar Ishwarara Seva Bina Nahi Janayar. That Ananta Sesh is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. So Ananta Sesh is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha has described Sesha Naga as follows. Sri Anantadev has thousands of faces and is fully independent. Always ready to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he waits upon him constantly. Sankarshan is the first expansion of Vasudeva, and because he appears by his own will, he is called Swarat, fully independent. He is therefore infinite and transcendental to all limits of time and space. He himself appears as the thousand-headed Sesha. In the Skanda Purana, in the Ayodhya Mahatmya chapter, the demigod Indra requested Lord Sesha, who was standing before him as Lakshman, please go to your eternal abode, Vishnu Loka, where your expansion Sesha, with his serpentine hoods, is also present. After thus dispatching Lakshman to the regions of Patala, Lord Indra returned to his abode. This quotation indicates that the Sankarshan of the quadruple form descends with Lord Rama as Lakshman. When Lord Rama disappears, Sesha again separates himself from the personality of Lakshman. Sesha then returns to his own abode in the Patala regions, and Lakshman returns to his abode in Vaikuntha. The Laghu Bhagavatamrita gives the following description. The Sankarshan of the second group of quadruple forms appears as Rama, taking with him Sesha, who bears the global spheres. There are two features of Sesha. One is the bearer of the globes, and the other is the bedstead servitor. The Sesha who bears the globes is a potent incarnation of Sankarshan, and therefore he is sometimes called Sankarshan. The bedstead feature of Sesha always presents himself as an eternal servitor of the Lord. Sahasrabharane kore Krishna gunagan, nirabade guna gana antanahipan. With his thousands of mouths, he sings the glories of Lord Krishna, but although he always sings in that way, he does not find an end to the qualities of the Lord. Sanakare Bhagavat Shune Jaramukhe Bhagavaner Gunakohe Bashe Premasuke. The four Kumaras hear Srimad Bhagavatam from his lips, and they in turn repeat it in the in the transcendental bliss of love of Godhead. Chatra Padukashaya Upadana Basan Arama Abasa Yagya Sutra Simasan. He serves Lord Krishna, assuming all the following forms: umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. So, Chatra, umbrella; Paduka, slippers; Shaya, bed; Upadan, pillow; Basana, garments; Arama, resting chair; Abhasa, residence; Yagya Sutra, sacred thread; Simhasana, throne. So Arama Maharaj means resting chair Maharaj. He serves Lord Krishna, assuming all the following forms: umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. Etamurti Beta Kore, Krishna Seva Kore, Krishnara Sesha Tapana, Sesha Namadore. He is thus called Lord Sesha, for he has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. Seta Ananta Jaran Kohe Ek Kala, Hena Prabhu Nityananda Ke Jane Tara Kela. That person of whom Lord Ananta is a kala, or part of a plenary part, is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Who therefore can know the pastimes of Lord Nityananda? So, Nityananda's Balaram and all these subsequent expansions, they're all coming from Balaram. So, that person of whom Lord Ananta is a kala, or part of a plenary part, is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Who therefore can know the pastimes of Lord Nityananda? So he's the source, and he's also all these different kala expansions. Esa Brahmane Jani Nityananda Tattvasima Tahake Anantakohe Etara Mahima. And somebody can say, how is that? And we use the word, what was the word?
Ontology?
No. I said yesterday and the day before. The English word that Guru Maharaj says.
Ontology.
Yeah. So this is the ontology. The ontology is that the idea is, if you have, as Prabhupada put it, if you have $1 million, you also have $100,000, $1,000, $100, a $20 bill, a $5 bill, a $1 bill. It's all within $1 million. So you can have the source and also all the expansions, including the kalas, all the parts of the parts. Esa Brahmani Jani Nityananda Tattvasima Tahake Ananta Kohe Etaras Mahima. And ontology means try to understand what is the source of all these divine appearances of the Lord and his expansions in the Chaitanya Lila. Then you can understand something about who they are and what they do. And therefore, the name, for instance, Avadut, will not confuse you. Because isn't Balaram something of an Avadut himself? He's an Avadut also. Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Balaram, his favorite student was Duryodhana. Who can understand that? And when Bhima defeated Duryodhana in a mace fight, I mean, Duryodhana was very expert with a mace, with a club. Bhima also, but Duryodhana was the student of Balaram. And they were fighting furiously, and then think it was Krishna. Krishna is very sneaky sometimes. Then Krishna slapped his thigh like that. And that reminded Bhima that you took a vow when Draupadi was insulted, that you would smash the thigh of Duryodhana, and that would completely disable him. And Krishna slapping his thigh. Then Bhima caught the idea, and Bhima hit Duryodhana, and Duryodhana fell down to the ground with his thigh broken. And then Balaram was like, foul, hitting below the waist, this is not correct. And he is ready to destroy Bhima. But then Krishna said, now, you understand that Bhima took a vow at the very beginning when Draupadi was insulted, this would happen, so you can't blame him for this. And then Balaram was not very pacified, but a little, okay, I'll accept that. But then when the battle of Kurukshetra took place, then Krishna took the side of the Pandavas, and then Balaram's thinking, well, what am I going to do? I can't fight against Krishna, so I'm going on pilgrimage. I'll go on a tour of all the holy places. So you would think if Krishna's fighting with the Pandavas, isn't Balaram going to be there fighting with the Pandavas also? No. Therefore, the title Nityananda Prabhu and Balaram drinking honey beverage, which we believe is fermented, and Nityananda calling out, "Bring me." What is it? He says, "Bring me." What is it? The word for nectar?
In the Amrita?
No, Madhur, which means bring me honey beverage, and when Nityananda's in ecstasy, and they bring him Ganga Jal, and he drinks, and he's almost like intoxicated from drinking the Ganga Jal. But that's right out of the pastimes of Balaram. Balaram himself is like, Balaram is something of an avadut. But Nityananda also, Nityananda is called avadut. And we have our own avadut in the mission also, and he's somewhat of that way too. Like unpredictable, right? Very wonderful person. So, Esa Brahmane Jani Nityananda Tattvasema Tahake Ananta Kohe Etara Mahima. From these conclusions, we can know the limit of the truth of Lord Nityananda. But what glory is there in calling him Ananta? Atava Bhakti Harabhakya Mani Satya Kori Sakala Sambhave Tate Jate Avatari. But I accept it as the truth because it has been said by devotees. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. Because he's the source, and he can also be Ananta. But if you call Nityananda Prabhu Ananta, what glory is there in that? And we have a saying in English that says something, what is the term, by faint praise? What is that? Like if the commander-in-chief, the president comes and you say, here he is, so-and-so, and he's the head of all the prisons. Yeah, well, he is the head of all the prisons because ultimately everyone answers to him. But that's not his real glory. And by saying that, it's called damnation, I think, by faint praise. And so, anyway, forgive me for saying this, but who is he referring to? But from these conclusions, we can know the limit of the truth of Lord Nityananda. But what glory is there in calling him Ananta? But I accept it as truth because it has been said by devotees. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. That includes all the incarnations. Okay, he's also Ananta. But Some of these remarks are coming from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, from Vrindavan Das Thakur. And later Krishnadas Kaviraj says, or he says about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what glory is there in calling him Kshirodakashayi Vishnu? So some of the conclusions of, Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj says, yes, he's that, but he's more than that. He's the source of. So actually, for us, the definitive work is the work of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. But Vrindavan Das Thakur is also, he's a disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. And Krishnadas Kaviraj continually calls him the Vyas of the Chaitanya Lila and gives all glories to him. So, Avatari Abeda Jane Purvijachi Krishna Keho Kaho Korimane. They know that there is no difference between the incarnation and the source of all incarnations. Previously, Lord Krishna was regarded in the light of different principles by different people. So there are many different people who refer to Krishna in different ways. Keho Kohe Krishna Sakat Narayan. Keho Kohe Krishna Hoy Sakat Vamana. Some said that Krishna was directly Lord Narayan. And some called him Lord Vamanadev incarnate. Keho Kohe Krishna Kshirodakashayi Avatar. Asambhavanahi Satya Vachana Sabar. Some called Lord Krishna an incarnation of Lord Kshirodakashayi. All those names are true. Nothing is impossible. Krishna Jabe Avatares Sarvam Sha Ashray Sarvam Sha Asitabe Krishnete Milai. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, appears, he is the shelter of all plenary parts. Thus, at that time, all his plenary positions join in him. So technically, it's not correct, all the misnomers that Hindus give to Krishna. They call him, he's an incarnation of Lord Narayan and all that. Whatever you say. But, with all due respect, I will not ask for a definitive answer about Siddhanta, generally from Hindus. If I want to know something more of Siddhanta and their present, I'll ask Ashram Maharaj or Vishak or also Devashis or also Nyasi Maharaj. I'll ask them. I won't ask the guest. I just say why we are in the eyes of some people so snotty as we are. I'm saying this in jest, just to lighten it up a little bit. But really, it is true. It's true like that. They will come in the temple, they want to start singing bhajans. We don't usually want that either. Because we don't, some of those bhajans, they say anything. Including asking favors from the Lord and all this. Jai Rupe Jani Setaha Kohe Sakala Sambhave Krishna Kichu Mityanahe. Whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. I once went, there was a preaching event, and I went to a Shakti Fest. Yeah, that was real Shakti, all right.
Shakti.
It was Shakti and shocking. Shakti and shocking. Because we're followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and worshippers of Radha Krishna. And when Hindus come in the temple, they can sing anything. And not always am I ready to join in a chorus of Hindu bhajans. That's just my feeling. See, I always put my foot in my mouth, and I always say things wrong, but you know, I will not be quiet. Jai Rupe Jani Se Taha Kohe Sakala Sambhave Krishna Kichu Mityanahe. Whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. So, okay, everything's possible. What is the term? Tatavat. What is that word? Tatavat. You know.
Yatamat, tatapat.
Yeah. Yatamat tatapat. What's the translation of that?
Like whatever you think, that's your path.
Yeah, whatever you think, that's your path. Yatapat tatapat. Huh?
Yatamat, isn't it?
Yatamat tatapat. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. That means how that translates as whatever that translates as whatever. That's the translation. Whatever.
We're gonna have a day today.
We're gonna have a good time. Jai Rupe Jani Se Tahaka He Sakala Sambhave Krishna Kichu Mityana He. In whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. Huh? In this connection, we may mention an incident that took place between two of our sannyasis while we were preaching the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in Hyderabad. One of them stated that Hare Krishna refers to Sri Balaram, and the other protested that Hare Krishna means Lord Rama. Ultimately, the controversy came to me, and I gave the decision that if someone says that the Rama in Hare Rama is Lord Ramachandra, and someone else says that the Rama in Hare Krishna is Sri Balaram, both are correct because there is no difference between Sri Balaram and Lord Rama. But I would also say neither of them are correct. But anyway, it's Govind Maharaj is saying this. But I can't contradict it, Prabhupada. But Guru Maharaj said the Hare Rama in the Maha Mantra doesn't refer to Ramachandra. It refers to Radha Raman. And the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is in the line of the worship of Shishi, Radha Krishna especially, we can say from the position of divinity, looking towards Srimati Radharani, Here in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita we find that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has stated the same conclusion. Jai Rupe Jani Se Taha Kohe Sakala Sambhave Krishna Kichu Mityanahe. If someone calls Lord Ramachandra by the vibration Hare Rama, understanding it to mean, O Lord Ramachandra, he is quite right. Similarly, if one says that Hare Rama means O Sri Balaram, he is also right. Those who are aware of the Vishnu Tattva do not fight over all these details, like we're doing. In the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has explained Krishna being Kshirodakashayi Vishnu and Narayan in the spiritual sky and expanding in the quadruple forms known as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He has refuted the idea that Krishna is an incarnation of Narayan. Some devotees think that Narayan is the original personality of Godhead, and then Krishna is an incarnation. Even Shankaracharya in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita has accepted Narayan as the transcendental personality of Godhead who appeared as Krishna, the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Therefore, this matter may be difficult to understand, but the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami, has established the principle of the Bhagavad Gita that everything emanates from Krishna, who says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ham Sarvasya Prabhavo, I am the original source of everything. Everything includes Narayan. Therefore, Rupa Goswami in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita has established that Krishna, not Narayan, is the original personality of Godhead. In this connection, he has quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that states, Swashanta Rupesh Vitarai Svarupar Abhyardyamanesh Vanukampitatma Paravaresho Mahad Amsha Yukto Yajopi Jato Bhagavan Yatagnihi. When pure devotees of the Lord, like Vasudeva, are greatly disturbed by dangerous demons like Kamsa, Lord Krishna joins with all his pastime expansions, such as the Lord of Vaikuntha, and although unborn becomes manifest, just as fire becomes manifest by the friction of Arani wood. Arani wood is used to ignite a sacrificial fire without matches or any other flame. Just as fire appears from Arani wood, the Supreme Lord appears when there is friction between devotees and non-devotees. When Krishna appears, he appears in full, including within himself all his expansions, such as Narayan, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. Krishna is also integrated with his other incarnations like Shringadev, Varaha, Vamanadev, Narayan, Hayagriva, and Ajita. In Vrindavan, Lord Krishna sometimes exhibits the functions of such incarnations.
The screen outside.
Huh?
The screen over the microphone. They're reading loud. This, I can't even hear your word.
In the Brahmanda Purana, it is said the
Be hard. Be hard.
Okay. All right. I give you something. That's coming from her. I didn't say anything. I'm already in enough trouble. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is said the same personality of Godhead who was known in Vaikuntha as the four-handed Narayan, the friend of all living entities, and in the milk ocean is the Lord of Svedadvi, and who is the best of all Purushas, appeared as the son of Nanda. So is the milk ocean, they say, the what is it? Like Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Is Kir milk? Is it a Kir ocean or is it a milk ocean?
Could they be used synonymously?
Maybe.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone has to go there and tell us.
Right.
You have to go there and
Try it.
try a couple
It's
cups
milk
of,
or Kir.
try a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, then we could have the term sweet water. All right. In a fire, there are many sparks of different dimensions. Some of them are very big and some are small. The small sparks are compared to the living entities, and the large sparks are compared to the Vishnu expansions of Lord Krishna. All incarnations emanate from Krishna, and after the end of their pastimes, they merge again with Krishna. Therefore, in the various Puranas, Krishna is described sometimes as Narayan, sometimes as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, sometimes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and sometimes as Vaikuntha, the Lord of Vaikuntha. Because Krishna is always full, Maha-Sankarshan is in Krishna, and since all incarnations are manifested from Maha-Sankarshan, it should be understood that he can manifest different incarnations by his supreme will, even in the presence of Krishna. Great sages have therefore glorified the Lord by different names. Thus, when the original person, the source of all incarnations, is sometimes described as an incarnation, there is no discrepancy. How are you today? Are you feeling?
Yes, I'm feeling better, Marcel.
Okay, good. Ateva Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gosai Sarva Avatara Lila Kori Sabhare Dekai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. So we're reading today the 5th chapter of Adi-lila. We're reading in the 5th chapter. We won't get to the end, but this is the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. E rupe Nityananda Nanta Prakash Se bhave kohe mui Chaitanya Radas. Thus Lord Nityananda has unlimited incarnations. In transcendental motion he calls himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, I want to get to this place. Okay, I don't know if Kabu Guru, Kabu Saka, Kabu Adi-lila, Purvijena, Tina Babe, Brajikoila Kela. Sometimes he serves Lord Chaitanya as his guru, sometimes as his friend, and sometimes as his servant, just as Lord Balaram played with Lord Krishna in these 3 different moods in Braja. So, sometimes shows Dasharas. All the incarnations show Dasharas. That's, and basically, Brishawaya Krishna Sane Matyamati Ran Kabu Krishna Kori Tara Paras Sambahan. Then, like a bull, Lord Balaram fights with Krishna head to head, and sometimes Lord Krishna massages the feet of Lord Balaram. Apanake, and if they're not serving in Dasharas, they want to serve in Dasharas. Apanake Pritya Kore Krishna Prabhu Jane Krishnara Kalara Kala Apanake Bane. Balaram considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus he regards himself as a fragment of his plenary portion. Risha Yamano Nardanto Yiyudate Parasparam Anukritya Rutar Jantum Charatu Prakrito Yata. Acting like ordinary boys, they played like roaring bulls as they fought each other. Acting like ordinary boys, they played like roaring bulls as they fought each other, and they imitated the calls of various animals. Kvachit krida parishrantam gopot sango pabarhanam swayam vishram mayat yaryam pada samvahanadibihi. Sometimes when Lord Krishna's elder brother, Lord Balaram, felt tired after playing and lay his head on the lap of a cowherd boy, Lord Krishna himself served him by massaging his feet. Kayam va kuta ayata daivi va nari utasuri prayo mayastu me bhartur nanya me pi vimohini. So in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's a pastime where, I forget, one of the servitors of one of the devotees comes and offers obeisances to Mahaprabhu and then offers obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu says, actually, Prabhu, you're not correct. And he says, it will be explained later. Then that devotee has a dream. And in the dream, he sees that Nityananda, he sees that there's Krishna and Balaram, and that obeisances are first offered. I don't know if it's by Krishna or by another. The devotee comes first and offers obeisances to Balaram and then to Krishna. And then the next day the devotee is there, and then he offers obeisances first to Nityananda Prabhu and then to Balaram. Like kind of like the mood, okay, I get it. I get it. The dream, he had a dream and everything was revealed in the dream. Kayam va kuta ayata daivi va nari Utasuri Prayo Mayastu Me Bartur Nanya Me Pi Vimohini. Who is this mystic power and where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna, for who else can bewilder me? And it's a very unusual event because what happened is when Lord Brahma stole all the cows, all the calves and cowherd boys. Balaram, for some reason, Balaram wasn't there because they were celebrating his birthday. And then the next day he came there and he saw the cowherd boys and the calves were all put in a cave with a stone over them, and they're in a state of yoga nidra. And Lord Brahma did that as a joke or a test, and then Krishna expanded himself as all those cowherd boys and calves. And then from all the calves and cowherd boys came a four-handed form of Vishnu. And then Balaram seeing this, and he says like this, he says, who is this mystic power and where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna, for who else can bewilder me? The playful pastimes of the Lord caused suspicion in the mind of Lord Brahma, and therefore Lord Brahma detests Krishna's lordship, stole all the Lord's calves and cowherd boys with his mystic power. Sri Krishna responded, however, by replacing all the calves and boys in the field. Lord Balaram's thought of astonishment at such wonderful retaliation are recorded in this verse that we read. But Lord Balaram just came upon, you can say, the aftermath, and he's seeing all these expansions of Krishna, and then the expansions himself showing the Vishnu form. And so this is unusual for other cowherd boys and calves to be like all there and then showing themselves as Vishnu form. So Lord Balaram, he intuitively understood everything, although he might not have been there for all the mischief of Lord Brahma, but he could understand. Yashangri Pankaja Rajo Kila Lokapalar Moli Utamar Dritam Upasita Tirta Tirtam Brahma Bhavoham Api Yasha Kalaya Shris Chodvahema Chiram Asha Nripasanam Kwa. What is the value of a throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of the various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. That dust makes the holy places sacred, and even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi, and I myself, who are all portions of his plenary portion, eternally carried that dust on our heads. When the Kauravas, to flatter Balaram so that he would become their ally, spoke ill of Sri Krishna, Lord Balaram became angry and spoke this verse. So this was a kind of you might say, a peacekeeping mission of Lord Balaram to visit the Kauravas before the whole battle of Kurukshetra was going to take place. So he went there, and they all knew that Lord Balaram of the Kauravas, he's our well-wisher. So then they all were happy to see Balaram and all that. But then they could not resist making some slight at Krishna. They said, well, the both of you are very nice, but you weren't born in royal families. You were born in the family of cowherd men, which is quite a bit below the Kshatriya class, the royal class. And now you're ordering us. Oh, I think Balaram ordered them to return. Who was it? To return, who had kidnapped one of the Kauravas, had kidnapped, I think, the daughter of, which daughter was it? Which the one, was it Sambhav? Sambhavam, or one of them had kidnapped one of the, I think maybe it was Lakshmana or something. One of the daughter, Lakshmana kidnapped. I think she's the daughter of, is it Duryodhana or someone important in the Kaurava. And then Balaram's there, and he, I think on that occasion he said, "All right, return Lakshmana and maybe Aniruddha, return them, and then everything will be okay. Then we can all be peaceful again." And then they said, "What? Who is he to order us? We've let you and Krishna get on, enjoy yourself, like using the chamara, which is just meant for the royal order, and let you use a throne and all these things. But actually you were born as cowherd boys. What right do you have for all this? Don't order us. You're no one to order us." And then Balaram got really exceedingly angry. And so he decided, okay, you want to be like that. With his plow, he started to drag Hastinapur into the Jamuna. Into the Ganges. Hastinapur is near the Ganges. He started to drag the whole city into the Ganges. And then, there's big earthquakes going through Hastinapur, and people are really getting frightened. And they said, and then he says this verse. He says, "Kayam va kuta ayata daivi va nari utasuri prayo mayastu me bartur nanya me pi vimohini." Who is this? Oh no, that was the previous verse. It's this verse. Yashangri pankaja rajo kila loka palar moli utamar dritam upasita tirtam Brahma bhavoham api yasya kala kalaya shrishchodvahema chiram asya nripasanam kla. What is the value of a throne, Lord Krishna? You think we're attached to these things? What is the value of a throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of the various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. That dust makes the holy places sacred, and even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi, and I myself, who are all portions of his plenary portion, eternally carry that dust on our heads. Then he said that to them, will you please come to your senses? You cannot slight Krishna. I won't allow this. And if you think I'm joking, here's a sample. He was very upset that they were, speaking down, trying to speak down to Krishna. And he's Balaram. You think you can speak that way in front of me? Or as our dear Shuddha Shrava would say, "Are you talking to me?" I know, I have 5 more minutes. Timekeeper has come. Ekaleshwara Krishna Arasabritya Jarijayche Nachayase Tajshikore Nritya. She's not even here, and she
must be very busy then.
Yeah. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. Emata Chaitanya Gosai Ekale Ishwar Arasab Parishad Keho Vakinkar. I lost 5 minutes there, I'll take it back. Thus Lord Chaitanya is also the only controller. All others are his associates or servants. Guru Marga Nityananda Dvaitacharya Shivasadi Arajata Lagu Samarya Sabi Parishad Sabi Lilara Sahai Sabaloya Nitya Karya Sade Gorarai. His elders, such as Lord Nityananda, Dvaitacharya, and Srivas Thakur, as well as his other devotees, whether his juniors, equals, or superiors, are always associates who help him in his pastimes. Lord Gauranga fulfills his aims with their help. Okay. With their help. Advaitacharya Nityananda Duyanga Duijana Loya Prabhu Jatakichuranga. Sri Advaitacharya and Srila Nityananda Prabhu, who are plenary parts of the Lord, are his principal associates. With these two, the Lord performs his pastimes in various ways. Advaitacharya Gosai Sakadishwar Prabhu Guru Korimane Tihota Kinkar. Lord Advaitacharya is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although Lord Chaitanya accepts him as his preceptor. Advaitacharya is a servant of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya always offered respects to Advaitacharya as he would to his father, because Advaita was even older than his father. Yet Advaita Prabhu always considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Advaita Prabhu Yet Advaitacharya always considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu and Ishwarapuri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, were both disciples of Madhavendra Puri, who was also the spiritual master of Nityananda Prabhu. Thus Advaita Prabhu, as Lord Chaitanya's spiritual uncle, was always to be respected, because one should respect one's spiritual master's godbrothers as one respects one's spiritual master. Because of these considerations, Sri Advaita Prabhu was superior to Lord Chaitanya. Yet Advaita Prabhu considered himself Lord Chaitanya's subordinate. Acharya Gosara Tattva Najai Katan Krishna Vatare Jeho Korila Brahman. Acharya Gosara Tattva Najai Katan Krishna Vatare Jeho Tarila Bhuvan. Tarilo Bhuvan. I cannot describe the truth of Advaitacharya. He has delivered the entire world by making Lord Krishna descend. So I'm stopping here before time drags on.